Good morning and welcome to Coffee Morning episode 5. Thank you all for joining me. Indeed, if you are a returning viewer, and a very warm welcome if you have found us for the first time. Welcome. Grab your coffee. I have mine in my sheep mug, and let's talk some craft. Let's do a little bit of admin first. Where you can find me. You can find me as the Fibre Factory UK on Instagram, on Twitter. I don't know how to use Twitter. On Facebook. The website is thefibreFactoryuk.co.uk, and the email and all my contact details are on the website on the Contact Me tab. Thank you for your lovely messages, and it's been really nice. Some really lovely conversations I've had this week, which have been, it's been fun. So making new friends along the way, and who doesn't need friends? So thank you very much for being here. I have some finished objects, I have some new cast-ons, and I have some future cast-ons. I have a little yarn dilemma, which you may have seen on Instagram if you follow me on Instagram. But all in all, it's been a good week. Let's do a quick week in review. Since last week, you seem to really like the little review show and tell on the West Yorkshire Spinners new florist collection last week. So thank you for the response to that. It does appear that, like me, many of you were quite disappointed with it just being a variegated yarn and not a self-striper or a self-patterned yarn. So maybe that's something that West Yorkshire Spinners have kind of found their niche in, and maybe need to look at that some more. But it is still very beautiful yarn, very beautiful shades. But as I say, a lot of you shared my doesn't stripe sort of thoughts on that. In other things, what's happened in this week? I think I was running on adrenaline last week. It was the first time I'd been out in quite a long time, and I think that it was all adrenaline fueled, so it was quite a long episode. This episode is not going to be that long. Hurrah! So let's get straight on with some finished objects. And your eyes do not deceive you, the Humulus is finished. I'm so happy with it. It knits exactly to pattern. Sizing is perfect. I can see multiples of these in my future knitting life, as Bethany wants it and has tried to steal it, and Charlotte put it on for me yesterday, and I'm going to pop some pictures in at the end. And she very elegantly modelled it for me and then tried to run off with it. So I think I can see a few more of these coming my way, or coming to my needle's way. So to recap for you what it actually is, it is the Humulus sweater by Isabell Kraemer. It is a top-down colourwork sweater. I have knit it using oldie acrylic yarn, which was $3.99 for 400 grams, so 4 100-gram balls. I used a little under 300 grams. I haven't actually weighed what I have left over, but it's possibly about 15 grams at most. So 300 grams I think for a sweater is great. And the colourwork I did using one of my own yarns in the Colourway Festival. Let me get closer, then you can see. I'm just so pleased with it. I did a little bit of colourwork on the sleeve. I wish I'd done it around the bottom of the jumper as well, but I hadn't thought that far ahead. So Humulus is finished and I am absolutely thrilled with it. I did block it, I block everything, and I have got a separate video that I will put up after this one about how I went about blocking, because it's acrylic. People tend to think that you don't need to block because it's acrylic, and it's a personal choice. I like to block everything because I just think it cleans it up after it's been handled so much. It tends to even everything out. And no, acrylic doesn't have the memory that a natural fibre does, but I still think you need to treat it as a natural fibre, because you spend so much time making a garment. It doesn't really matter what it's made out of. Treat it with love and care and you'll be wearing it for a long time. So my Humulus completed and I am chuffed to bits with it. It is a paid for pattern on Ravelry, but very, very, very much worth it. It's not very expensive. I think it's £4.50 maybe. I think, I can't remember. But it really is well worth a knit. It's a lovely, lovely pattern. I knit it with the suggested needles, which is a 325 for the ribs and a 4mm for the rest. I think it's 325. Let me just check that. Oh, I do want to talk about charts. You obviously have a chart for the colour work. Now, I don't know if any of you do this, but my mind starts to sort of tick over and think about why we do things the way we do it. And I completely understand charts. I completely understand that you follow them the way you knit. So you starting in general, you're doing from the bottom up. So you start at row 1, which is written at the bottom, and you go across, and you know how a chart works. So why is it then that when you're knitting a top-down sweater, the chart doesn't run from the top to the bottom? You still work from the bottom to the top. There's a little thing for you to ponder. If you would like to answer that question, please feel free to comment below. Yeah, it just occurred to me that we're not constructing the sweater in the same way as a traditional chart would have shown us to. So surely the chart should then run from top to bottom. The things that keep me entertained on an evening. What can I say? Cast one on, and if you do cast one on, please tag me in it, because I really want to see it, because I've seen so many variations of this and I just love the yarn choices that people make. I just think it's so nice to see the same sweater but done in so many different ways, so they all look completely different. I think it's fab. So finished object number 1, the Humulus, and I love it. The second finished object was something that I hadn't even thought about casting on. Certainly didn't talk about it last week, and it is the Fuss Free baby cardigan by Louise Tilbrook Designs, and it is a free pattern on Ravelry. It's a dream to knit because it practically just knits itself. It's so intuitive. And I think it's really cute. So here it is. I do need to sew the buttons on, so it is finished because the knitting's done. It's just I need to put the buttons on. So this is she. This is the Fuss Free, a baby cardigan. It's really sweet. I'm going to put these. I don't know if I'm not going to be able to do this, but just little lavendery, purpley colour. Yeah, that's not really helping. It is knit all in one piece, and then you do your little arms. It's great. I love it when you pick up and do your little bands. Really quick. I knit it in an evening. It is knit out of Foray, which is one of my merino bamboo colourways. Hopefully I'll be dyeing up some more of this next week. It's lovely and soft, so I think it'll be nice for a baby. And this is in the 0 to 3 months, 0 to 3 months size. The pattern comes with 2 sizes, and that is a 0 to 3 months and a 3 to 6 months. So a really nice little cardie to throw on your needles, and literally it practically throws itself off your needles really quickly. So it's a lovely little knit. So once again, that is the Fuss Free Baby Cardigan by Louise Tilbrook, and of course I will link that below. What else do we have? Let's move on to the not finished object, but this is the object that is causing me the most problems. So you've now seen this 100 gazillion times. This is my granny stripe blanket, and the pattern is Attic 24s. I am not knitting it, I'm crocheting it in King Cole Drifter DK in the colourway Boston. Now, Bella and I pulled back the rooster and the orange, so the blue rooster and the orange Adrafil in the car, and then I suddenly had that, you're sat here pulling out your work with someone that's nearly 2. You are never going to have anything safe on needles ever again. She loved it. She thought it was hilarious. So we pulled back, and I popped my little owl progress keeper onto the final stripe, and I crocheted along. Where is it? There's the ring. So we went all the way. We did this, we did this, we did this. And we got to here. So let's hold it that way. So, you know, that's quite the chunk. And then last night I was sat crocheting away, and I got to the end of this row, and this happened. There is no colour in the yarn whatsoever. There is no plain white in this blanket at all. It's a variegated skein. So let me show you how much precisely. So it's practically a whole ball of wool that has gone into this. I have got it all tangled. Hang on. Hold fire. Right. So, no colour. That is the amount of yarn that is completely undyed, and then, just so you can see that it is actually the same wool. Okay, and then the colour starts to come back, and this is the remainder of the skein that is coloured. So, not very impressed, because that is, I haven't weighed it, and I will do, but that is an awful lot of yarn to be completely undyed, and it's going to stick out like a sore thumb within the blanket, because it is. So I contacted King Cole Yarns and Patterns, or whatever they call themselves, and they said contact them on Facebook, which seems to be the best way to get hold of them. And they apologise. It says, thank you for getting in touch, and we sincerely apologise, undyed yarn in our Drifter DK. We tend to advise, when these sorts of flaws appear, that you return to the retailer where the yarn was purchased from. Thank you and apologies again. Not a great response, King Cole. Not overly impressed with that. It's actually a manufacturing error and not a retailer's issue. And, you know, I think there was better ways that they could have responded to that. What I do need to do is reskein this ball, because this is the same dye lot. So essentially this one could well be the same, and then I'd be really cross. But yeah, no great sort of help from King Cole. And I'm not prepared to pull it all out again. But I think had it just been a small amount, I would have just got, you know, it doesn't make it, whatever, just get on with it. But actually that's quite a significant amount of yarn that is completely undyed, and I think it would have been nice for them to have maybe sort of just said a little bit more about their thoughts on it. But we'll see. I'm going to keep that little line of communication open with King Cole and see what happens. But yeah, not happy. So that's finished objects on the go that you know about, and then I've got another object on the go, and that is with this, which is Drops Fable. And John decided that he would very much like a sock head hat. So the sock head hat by Mclure, which is a free pattern on Ravelry. It's really nice, a very, very popular pattern. It's got a really deep rib. We know how much I love to rib. And a stockinette head. And it's got the sort of very drapey, floppy. There's a cool term for it, but I can't remember what it is. It's got that, so that's on the needles. I am knitting this on Knit Pro interchangeables in a 3mm, 144 stitches, 3mm. This is going to come off these needles very, very soon. And I will have to start again because for some reason, somewhere along the line, I've completely cocked up the rib. So I'm just not feeling rib right now. So I will start these again because he really does want a hat. And this is living in my Moomin bag. My lovely little Moomin bag. And this is by a Knit Gizmo Makes. It's on Instagram and Etsy store and everything else. So that is where John's sock head hat is going to live. However, when I reached for this bag, I honestly didn't think there was anything in it because I couldn't recall anything being in it. And oh my goodness, I was wrong. First and foremost, there is a skein of Drops Fable in the really bright green and orange, which is lovely. There is it's like, what's in the bag? There is interchangeable needle with, looks like 5mm needle on there. So that's that one. Then there is tea. This is my favourite tea. Then there is, this is a bit, there's a fudge. There is a diddy little mini skein, which is adorable. Look at that. And this is Knit or Dye, by Knit or Dye in the Ziggy Stardust colourway. And that is so sweet. That's a lovely little dinky one. There is a tape measure in full working order. And this one is a Cath Kidston one. And then there is a sock. Well, when I say a sock, there is this. This was an attempt at doing a toe-up sock. I normally knit all my socks from the cuff down, and I now know why I do that, because this looks like a bit of a boob, and I'm not keen on that. Loving this colourway though. That is so much fun. It's really bright. So this I'm going to pull back, and I will cast on another sock, but it will be knit cuff down. So sock head is going back into my Moomin bag, and I will also be putting back in that skein of yarn, because I can unplug that, or unpull that as we go. The fudge I don't think I'll put back in there. I think I might have to put that in the bin. And I will drink the tea. What else do we have? Oh, down here, hidden away in my Harry Potter bag, which, look at Dumbledore, he's just the coolest. So yeah, my Harry Potter bag, which was made by the Tudor Rose Craft Studio. They're so gorgeous. I love that tag. The Tudor Rose Craft Studio, and it's got the lovely Harry Potter fabric inside. Hiding in here are, can I just say, this is holding 2 100-gram skeins of yarn. Is the pheasant sock, which I really wanted to have done, and I started on the rib, and I was so proud, and I was running away with it thinking I will have this done, and I will have a jumper and socks and a cardigan, and when I look like a wonderful knitter. And then I put it with its friend, its finished friend, and 2x2 rib, not 2x2 rib. Time out. So Mr. Pheasant is in time out in the Harry Potter bag, because theme here, I'm not having much luck when it comes to rib. So I'm just going to leave it. I'm going to leave it for a couple of days, let it stew a little bit, and then maybe I will pull it back and start it again. That poor sock feels like it's never going to get finished ever. That is all the projects that are either on or off the needles. Future projects. What have I got in store for future projects? I mentioned last week about this pattern, and that is the estuary shawl. And there you can see the beautiful detail in that. This one is going to be cast on this week. So this is the pattern Estuary by Tin Can Knits on Ravelry. It's super, super pretty. So this is the one thing that I will be casting on this week for sure. I will put all the details down below, as I do. Well, it's the 28th of February today, so that brings us to the end of the 28 days of Love Cal. So I'm going to officially close it as of midnight tonight. So if you haven't yet signed up for it, you can still sign up for it, and anything you've knit or crocheted or stuck together with blue tack that you want to enter into the finished objects, please do so, because there are prizes, and I will be announcing those prizes on next week's podcast. So looking forward to that. What else do we have for you? Let's say it's the 28th of February, and where I am here in Suffolk, we've been on an amber alert for the beast from the east, and it's arrived today, and currently it is still snowing outside, and we have a good 4.5, 5 inches, maybe a little more. It does look really beautiful, and it hasn't stopped snowing yet, so who knows what we'll end up with, but I will put some photographs in at the end so that you can take a look at my snow, because I'm sure it looks completely different to your snow. If you are stuck with snow, please be careful. Stay in, have a coffee, knit some. You don't need to go out. You don't need to. It's not necessary. That's all I have for you this week. It really is. I have got my wholesale order is all done, and that is heading off to the shop, and they are really lovely. I'm really proud of them. Beautiful merino singles, so they're all off. I will be having a shop update on Friday, and that will include some single skeins that I found whilst doing my stock taking, and also mini skeins, and also my new range of merino alpaca and 50 grams, and there's some really lovely colours, so really pleased with that. That's it. Thank you so much for having a quick coffee with me this week. As I say, I will be putting some pictures of everything that we've discussed. It's very formal. Everything that we talked about today at the beginning and some at the end of this video. Stay safe in the snow. Craft lots and enjoy everything you do. Have a wonderful week, and I will see you next week for another coffee morning. Please don't forget, if you like and subscribe to the podcast, it really helps me to get seen across YouTube. Contact me via the website. There's a contact me tab. I think it's contact and subscribe. If you open up that tab and scroll down a wee bit, you'll find all the contact bits and pieces there. So I do love to hear from you. I had some really smashing emails this week that have made me giggle, and some great questions have come in as well, and I'll do some more of those next week, and also I'm going to have a think about more ways to interact with you guys. Please can you let me know if you would prefer a Ravelry group or a forum based thing on the website. If you could comment below with Ravelry or website, that would be really fab. It will make my decision easier. It's a bit 50-50 at the moment. So let's see, and if you would like a Ravelry group, I will happily set up a Ravelry group if I can work it out. So all that waffle being said, please have a wonderful week. Stay safe, stay warm, and enjoy everything that you do. Bye bye.